by King Cookie or call 352-237-2557. KingCookieOcala.com. Customized cookies, cakes, and more. King Cookie.
Eating cookies. We're so happy eating cookies.
Cookies!
All right, 8 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. This morning we were having this argument. How do you pronounce the name of those noodles? R-A-M-E-N. Is it ramen or Raymond? Right?
Okay, yes.
So Dan put in some artificial intelligence into the mixing board here. And I think all I have to do is push this button. I think it's called Siri. Is it called Siri?
Yes.
And you're supposed to say the name, right, Siri?
Yes.
Siri, is it pronounced ramen or Raymond?
According to the Encyclopedia Britannica and other sources, those cheap noodles packaged in shrink wrap, often exchanged by prisoners as jail currency, is pronounced Ramen. Note: less affluent and those with poorer education say ramen.
Oh, there you go.
I love that.
There you go. So artificial intelligence is just amazing, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't know they exchange noodles for currency in the jails. I didn't know that.
Well, smoking's banned a lot, so they got to do something.
So they got noodles now. See what you learn with the artificial intelligence. I
love that.
John Schneider is the vice president of product marketing for Jive Software.
Yeah.
He's going to tell us how artificial intelligence is changing the way business is done. And I think we just changed it a little bit ourselves.
I think so.
The top 5 artificial intelligence trends for this coming year. John Schneider, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Have you ever eaten those noodles? And now I know it's pronounced Raymond. I was corrected. So, have you ever had those noodles?
Not since college.
Not since college. Well, good for you.
He's got money.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is the cheapest food in the world.
That's right.
Well, thank you for putting up with us. We're kind of nutty, but anyway, so we have artificial intelligence, and how is it being used? It's amazing. Every time you turn the news on, there's something else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to kind of separate out what's hyperbole. It's often created from Hollywood. You know, you've got these mischievous plots to destroy humanity from the robots, right? Like Ex Machina, the movie, and then HBO's Westworld series that's on right now. But really, AI technology in 2016 and moving in 2016 has been a bit more benign than that.
Okay.
And that's really not to say it's not exciting.
Right.
AI technology of today is far more likely to recommend the movies in your movie queue than it is to take over the world.
Okay.
But what it really, if you were to take it and look at it at more detail level, there's an improved ability to make recommendations, and natural language processing has made big leaps ahead. So really, what AI technology is trying to do or conspire to do for you, is really help you make your life easier, moving you into less of the routine activities and more to the things that add more valuable to your professional and personal life.
And are they interconnected? Like, for example, when we hear about the cars that we drive that are now able to detect that you're, going over the line or getting too close to the guy in front of you, that's artificial intelligence, isn't it?
That is absolutely using machine learning processing based on data of what's happening in real time to make a decision for you. Absolutely, there's a connection there. And where it really becomes even more magical is when you put together human interaction and information with sensor data of devices like that talking to each other.
Wow.
So if you take an example like the application Waze, where they're trying to outsmart traffic,
right.
You have two elements. You have the sensor on your smartphone and in the car that's helping it make decisions around traffic flow, but you also are getting information from crowdsourcing of people sharing information about what's happening on the road. Oh, I saw an accident, right?
Yes.
And when you put those two together, you get an incredibly powerful answer as to what your best route is.
Do you know, I just don't know if... I never knew this. I have Waze on my phone, but I didn't know what it could do. And I had it on one time just to see what was going on, and then it started talking to me. It said there's an accident up ahead or something. I said, whoa, I didn't even know it could do that. Mm-hmm. So I'm probably the last one to figure that out.
We are primarily an English-speaking country. But when everything else comes out, the software and everything like that, do you have different options to choose the language, and then there's no delay in whatever it is that needs the operating system to be?
And that's the beauty of cloud technology, right? So these services are available on a global scale from inception, essentially. And the important element is really the collection of data and information so that the system can get smarter. And that gets the topic of big data. The digital universe is set to grow to 44 zettabytes by 2020. And just to give you an idea of what 44 zettabytes is, if you took your favorite Saturday Night Live sketches and you put them on continuous loop, they could go for 7 billion years before you would consume 44 zettabytes of data. So that's a lot of data. And that data, when it's available, we can use machine learning to process it, get answers to questions, make predictions about what might happen next. And so it's not really bound by language. It's more about the cloud and access to the cloud, and then the capturing of all that information and data, so algorithms can get smarter over time.
Really?
Wow.
Okay, so now part of intelligence in human intelligence has to deal with disagreement because we don't always agree on things, and so trying to debate is an interesting thing to observe. Is artificial intelligence able to debate? And I'm trying to think of an idea here of where it might come into play. Let's say, in the practical world, you're driving down the road and you got three choices of routes to take, three different routes you could take. Does the machine or does the artificial intelligence debate with itself as to which is the best route to recommend?
There would be two levels of it in most situations. Obviously, if it's cars and safety, that's a whole different matter where that's a whole level of what a person needs to decide versus a machine. But if you were to take it and think of that from a routing perspective, it's determining the optimal route, but it may give you choice, right? Because it doesn't know necessarily. There might be a personal reason why another route is more preferred. You may prefer another route that's 5 minutes longer because it's more scenic.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Or there's a Starbucks on the way, right? And on the business side, you can take the same type of scenario. You wake up in the morning and you talk to your personal assistant through Alexa or Google, and you say, "Hey, what does my day look like?" And the device tells you about the top news, the top things in your email inbox, and your first upcoming meetings, and maybe a request for a meeting. It may ask you a few choices. Hey, would you like to take that meeting that that your boss sent you overnight while you were sleeping, or would you like to defer that to the next day? And you better have the right answer for that one.
Is there a website we can go to see what the top trends will be or the predictions for 2017?
Yes, all of this is on jivesoftware.com.
Okay.
We have a 2016 year in review and a look-ahead blog post.
All right. I want to go to this website. So jivesoftware.com. That's where we want to go. John Schneider, fascinating topic, really. You're in an amazing world over there, and we're just looking in. Thank you for doing what you do and for being on the air with us today.
Thank you.
All right, we will be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. President Obama promising the U.S. will retaliate against Russia for its alleged hacking and attempt to interfere with U.S. elections, saying it's important we don't let the differences between Americans obscure the need for us to stand together against the threat.
Figure out what it is that the Russians